Number five, Keith. Yeah, motherfucker. Yes, talk to me and I'll help y'all finish it. Oh, no. It's just, hold on. Oh, somebody called me. Hold on. It's a little private.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cynthia, and I want to speak on it because one of the biggest things with me is they always say that racism is gone, but technically it isn't gone anywhere. And I feel like, yes, this is an issue. I feel like he is wrong for that, and I feel like they are sugarcoating it. And what I mean by sugarcoating it is because if he said it that many times in a conference when he knew America was watching, how many times has he said it without being in the public eye? You get what I'm saying? And then we're supposed to be okay with it because he apologized. But a mistake is saying it once. But when you continually say it, that's not a mistake. That's who you are. So I feel like there's still racism and always going to be racism as long as people keep getting away with being able to say what they want to say like this and then say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it that way." I mean, personally, I hear that because I mean, I'm a person. I'm a female with locks. So a lot of times you do hear that. But my biggest thing exactly. Exactly. You you hear that a lot because a lot of people don't know the story and the history behind the locks. Period.
Right.
Exactly. I agree.
Mhm. Mhm.
Honestly, I do. Sorry, y'all. This is sinful again. Honestly, because we're not colored. It's not a color. If we look and you go into everybody's DNA, everybody has one drop of the same DNA.
Mhm.
Exactly. And if you really look at it, why Caucasians are calling us colored, they're the ones that change colors. Literally. Literal. Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. But my thing is, why would they? And I say, why would they? Because if we look at it, the NAACP is supposed to support the Black African Americans, but you're calling us colored. Therefore, exactly who are you supporting?
Mm.
They support us, but they support us on a white man's terms.
That part.
I think they're not doing enough, because if they were doing enough, then they wouldn't be calling us colored.
Right.
You don't think that the NAACP is keeping that name because that's historical and that's their in their charter or their bylaws or whatever. They'd have to do, what are they supposed to do? Change from colored to black to African American, and then they're not recognized. Historically, they began as the National Association of, you know,
Mm-hmm.
colored people. So I think they're just keeping that as a historical thing, you know.
But
That's
but
when
I
they yeah.
but my
understand, but
thing,
that's when they were created. That's when
and
they were
and
Mm-hmm.
developed, and they fought for that name,
and I
you
mean, I
know.
get that and I understand that. But if they're supposed to be to help us to be acknowledged as more
Mhm.
than just colored people, then they themselves should not be labeling us as colored people.
I don't know that their function is against being called colored people. They're supposed to be fighting for black Americans. You
My
know what I
point
mean?
exactly. Then we should
Yeah.
be labeled as Black Americans and not colored people.
Mm.
Well,
That's
we're
If
true.
we're still
labeling
labeled as
ourselves,
colored
no?
people, if we're
We
still
label
labeled as colored people, then we never really got away from slavery anyway, because that's what we were labeled as when we were in slavery.
you were labeled as niggas.
Niggas and colored people.
Yeah, but
Niggas and colored people. When you go to the
our
water fountains, what signs did the water say? What sign did the water fountain say? Negroes, colored people.
It did. But
but you know
but
how many
the
times our
so deep embedded.
ethnicity has changed? The name of who we are has changed in American history.
A
Even
lot.
even with the Indians, their
I
name.
can't hear you. I don't know who's talking, so
Oh, it was me. I said
I can't hear.
even with Indians, they have changed what they called them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They went, yeah, they went from redskin. Yeah, right, right, because they was redskin Indians, and now all of a sudden they're indigenous.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
I don't care what they call themselves as long as they're fighting for the needs that are current in our society.
Well, my thing
You
is,
know,
The,
that's
Brittany
my.
just said
the needs for the current.
Mm-hmm.
that she's okay with it.
I'm sorry. What?
Well, that's sinful. Sinful and Mr. Blick, aka Savagely. Okay, so it's like really deeply embedded. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not
Mm-hmm.
something that just came overnight and everything like that. Like I was on the thing, was that TikTok or IG the other day, and I seen the experiment that two young cats did. One of them was white, one of them was black. They put on the glasses, they had the walking stick, they were acting like they were blind. Anytime the person made contact with another person, because they were walking behind them, make contact with them to try to get them to guide them. The white guy, they would pull away from him, then they would look at him, then they would guide him along on his path. The black guy, the best thing he got is the dude snatched away from him and just set him on the correct course. You know what I'm saying? And it was like 10 different scenarios where this went back to back to back on an experiment. And they said, well, this is not dead, but it's not dead because it's so deeply embedded because you can see the difference just right there. You know what I'm saying? A common courtesy, like if somebody came up to me and I can see that they're blind, if they grab my arm, obviously they need some assistance. I don't care what color they is. They could come from another planet and be green, polka dot pinstripe. You know, so yeah, it's just deeply embedded, man. It is kind of embarrassing, and also I want to mention that out of all the races and everything like that, like the Jewish with the Holocaust, they make sure they remember that. You know what I'm saying? All these different races that went through what they went through, they make sure they know it so it don't happen again. Us, they're trying to delete it, even from the school, like you said earlier. So how are we going to keep moving forward if we can't remember what happened? We're doomed to repeat it again. Especially in today's time where the propaganda is being pushed and everybody taking a look at us differently, you know. And as for earlier, I'm one of them dread people too. I'm a man though, but still, I'm one of them dread people too. So, you know, hearing stuff like buckwheat and stuff like that kind of hurt because to me, it's a crown. You know what I'm saying? You know, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's crazy. But I'm leaving it alone. That is not a
It was
compliment.
not a compliment, and he knew that. He knew that. And Buckwheat was a kid, a boy. It wasn't a
Hey,
girl.
on the show, what was that show? What was that show? Little
The
Rascals.
Little
Yeah,
Rascals. He was a boy.
Mm-hmm.
Insulting.
Very insulting.
Right. Right.
But even if she is gay, but no, that happens. That happens. Right. But overall, it's just the insult.
It's
The insult.
insulting. Yeah, he meant
But
to
this the
insult her.
thing. This the thing. I want to propose a question real quick. All right. All right. So he called her buckwheat. He called her out of her name like 2 times, and then he got away with that. But what if she would have took that and actually right there in front of the cameras amped out on him? Who would have been the bad person then? Who
Right.
would the
They would have
media
been
have
all over
focused
her.
on?
Take the high road.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Actually, what she did, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
is she took a more
Wait, who's
educated.
speaking?
Oh, this is Spirit. But in my opinion, she took the more educated role. They look for a black person to act indignant, and especially
Right.
black women
Right.
to
Yeah.
um to act angry, to be the things that they have labeled us as. So
Yeah.
therefore, to me, she did take the high road, but she took it with education. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I
Right.
get that. I get
Yeah,
that.
she came out educated, so she depleted everything that they have called us over the years. She just
Mm-hmm.
knocked that out the ballpark. And so long as we keep doing that, we will prevail because
Okay.
eventually people are gonna stop. I
Okay,
do.
Miss Spirit.
I do. You can only repeat actions so many times and be addressed with education so many times.
I do. Okay, so what if this is Mr. Blake? What if she was the one who was in the forefront? She was the one who was speaking, and she called him straight haired or saltine or something like that.
But she
Then
didn't. She didn't.
right.
Therefore, she
Okay.
didn't act in a way that white people have stigmatized black people anyway, especially black women. We are
Right.
class that they have us as being angry. By her responding with the education, right?
It
By her
deflected it.
responding with the education, she was a lot more effective than she would have been by saying "fuck you,"
Yeah.
saltine
I
or
get that,
cracker
but
or whatever.
what if she was the one who was addressing the people and she said something bad
Then
about
she
her?
would be equally as wrong. No, she would be equally as wrong.
Okay, but exactly. That's what I was
Right.
trying to get to.
They would have
That's what I was trying
removed
to
her.
say.
Right.
But
To
they're
make
not going
an
to remove
example.
him, and we all know why.
We do
We
know
all
why.
know why he's not going to be.
And I.
Mm-hmm.
But part of that too is because
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But Biden came into office, and I'm sure a lot of people don't like him. But Biden came into office saying that he would not tolerate none of that. Period.
He did.
So I mean, is she being? Would she have to step down because of the comment and what white people feel, or because Biden has straight said he's not tolerating it?
Mm.
Because she's doing something against the policies that he has in place in the White House.
Mm.
But I
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've learned that over the years. That's a learned process.
Mm-hmm.
Because we wanted to retaliate many times, but we've been conditioned that you get better results if you don't have retribution, or you know what I mean, or be reactionary. Because it just goes worse if you're reactionary. Can
True.
I speak on the NAACP? I went out and
Yes, yes, yes.
this is Shakara. They're saying that for the NAACP, they want to keep that title because of the founding fathers. Um, because people are asking, like, why don't they change this, and there's a lot of chatter because of it, but they desire to keep the name and to honor the original founders and to maintain a reminder of the conditions that necessitated its founding, you know. But then they're saying that also there are minorities other than black people that are discriminated against, so they seek to maintain that color is oftentimes the basis for discrimination, right, hatred, and prejudice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're saying that they want to keep in mind that the majority of the founding members of the NAACP were white, and the first chair was a white woman. Wow, I don't remember that, but yeah, yeah, yeah. With the majority of the founding members of the NAACP were white. Well, yeah, the original founders, they wanted to maintain a reminder of the conditions that necessitated them even creating the National Association, against colored
Color
people.
people. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just nice.
Also to touch on that, not to cut you off.
Who are you?
Shut up. They know I'm sinful. Not to cut you off, because I also was looking up some things too. As one of the reasons why they refer to the NAACP refers to us as colored is because they actually consider it more polite than using the word black.
Okay.
Yeah, I just actually looked that up and read it because I was going back to try and see some stuff about it, and I just read that that's why they label us as colored people, because they think it's more polite than calling us black people.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to think of the Freedom Riders and all of them. That's what this came out of. That's what we're talking about. Founders, some of the founders were white. We had Freedom Riders, and we had, you know what I mean? We had white people that took up the fight and stood with black people too. So
Mhm.
I mean, it kind of is what it is, but
Personally, I think this is Mr. Blake. I think the NAACP. I think the name is nostalgic and it does serve a purpose. But you got to take those people back then, and if they were still here right now, how would they feel about it? Like, because really, it's not even being sugarcoated no more, and that was their problem back then. It wasn't being sugarcoated, and now it's getting
mhm,
back to the point where it's not being sugarcoated, So yeah,
yeah.
I don't know.
It's always been there. It's just been hidden. But Trump brought it out, so
Okay.
you see it. Yeah,
Ma- making America great again.
yeah, yeah.
you know.
Or
It's always gonna go on in the United
Mm,
States.
yeah.
Racism. It's not gonna never stop.
It will, but it's gonna take something crazy like a whole real loud uproar. But that's what we try to stay away from because that's the paint that the brush that they have in their hand. It's not a blank canvas. This is the brushes they've been stroking for years. So if we give in to that, then we've been correct for amount of time. But if we stay to the passive and just muddle through it and everything like that, it's really never going to be no change. It's almost like a catch-22 within itself.
Did you read that they were creating a monument for um Emmett Till? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know that. Or they've
Yeah.
created it, or they are creating it.
They are creating. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
For his what would have been his 82nd birthday or
nice.
something. Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
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 No, you do not. You do not have to identify yourself. If they pull you over, you do not have to identify yourself. You do not have to give them any information. They are required to give you their badge number as well as their first and last name. Police are supposed to do, they have rules, they just don't follow them. Now here, they do. And here, situations are dealt with differently. When somebody is having some type of mental distress or whatever, they don't just send in the police. They send in the police. They send in paramedics. They send in 2 nurses who specialize in mental health as well as a social worker. So when there is something, and I know this because me and my daughter had it out, and I'm not going to even get into it, but the thing is that our state has implemented this stuff, and it is working. And we have now a police system that is given the support. You have to remember, the police are trained to come in when there's a crime. They're not equipped with how to deal with somebody who's mental ill, or how to deal with somebody who's autistic or has some type of mental disability. They are not trained in that. So our state said, okay, well, we're going to take funding and we're going to put it in these services. And these services are actually working. When people go to jail now, and if they're going in for like violent stuff where they're repeat offenders, where like my son, he destroys property and does all kind of shit, and so he's in and out of jail. The child is schizophrenic and he needs help, but they're still building that system.
That sounds promising.
It is. It's great. Like we decided, and the thing is there's this. Her name is Marianne Williamson, and she is one of the Democrats running for president against Biden, and she actually used Washington State as what she wants to do with law enforcement and the social services that our state provides for people who are in crisis. And so yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. Right.
One thing
That's
to remember,
crazy.
one thing to remember is that in the state of Washington, we also have one of the highest rates of mental illness. Therefore, it's going to be addressed differently. As a Black person in southern states, in eastern states, anywhere but here, even the Midwest, they are treated completely different. I don't care what they put in place. They're not going to address things by the book. They're going to address them by belief.
Well, the thing is all three of my kids are biracial. I've been in the car with my daughter when we've been pulled over, and I'm going to be real. Like there is nervousness that comes in me, and I get scared because I have watched what police have done. They didn't even arrest my son. They took my son and his wife, right? And they were at a bar, and then they came home, and they were going to get my son's car, because it was parked at his job, which was like a couple blocks away from the bar that they went to, and my daughter-in-law actually worked at the bar. So they were walking to the car, and she was wasted, and he sat her down to go get the car, and these two police pulled up on them, accused Karen of beating up Kenny, which didn't happen. When they grabbed her and put her on the car and handcuffed her, he got upset, and he's like, she didn't do anything. She didn't hit me. She didn't do anything. What are you arresting her for? So then they got pissed at him and decided to arrest him. But the thing is they put them in jail for 3 days with no charges. They just held them there. Just held them there. Right. But the thing is that my son...
The absolute thing is that in Washington State, we are a lot more liberal.
Yeah.
We look to fix the problems, even the homeless problem.
Right.
We have a higher rate of mental illness in Washington State. Therefore, they achieve to handle it differently. In the southern states, I repeat, southern and other states, even the Midwest, they do not handle things like they do here. Not at all. There is still that big stigma of what a Black man is. So no matter what happens in Washington State, it does not apply to the rest of those states.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because we're showing that it actually works, and it should be implemented because we've been doing our, as you know, our state's been doing this for a while, and it's working. And it's like, and that's why I like Miriam Williamson, who's running, for the Democratic spot against Biden. She used. Right. Yeah. Yeah. We. Right. 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 Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, because I was screaming at I was under medicated for 2 days, and I flipped out on her, and so that's why. And she actually called the police on me, and the nurses told her, "You've been taking her medication, and she's 100 milligrams below it, and you wonder why she's freaking out." Like, dude, like I was under medicated for 2 days. But when we called, there was, they did bring all of that because they did understand that there was something going on. And in that moment, I was not mentally okay. And I'm glad that I had the support, but she wouldn't go to the fucking pharmacy. Oh, sorry. She wouldn't go to the pharmacy for me. And it wasn't until that those people got here who said, "Hey, your mom's under medicated. You need to go get her medication, and you need to stop taking hers." And so, but that was the first time. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's too blick.
Chris,
That's too blick. I
Chris,
say
prom
yes.
time, prom time, prom time.
Oh, the situation is I was me and my son. We were walking right, and
Well, I'm gonna make a
it was
U-turn
at
and turn
night.
around.
So okay, so me and my son were walking, and it was a nice day. So we were like, we could have. I was gonna be like, have my wife drive us or whatever like that, because I was a little bit inebriated at the time. But we decided to take a walk because it was nice and everything like that. So basically, we was walking. I was gonna walk him halfway home. It's not that far, straight up the street for real. Anyway, so we got pulled over when we got by my job, which is on the back side of it is a dark street, very dimly lit, and everything like that. And the cops pulled up on us, and they're like, "Okay, so what are you doing? Da da da. See your ID." And I asked myself, "What crime have we committed where you need to see our ID? We're just walking." And basically, it escalated into this big thing and everything like that. But at the end of the day, one of the cops said, "Yeah, we followed you from point
Mm,
A and then I was like, and you didn't see nothing wrong that we were doing, but you still chose to make a point C because point A to point B is observation. Point C was
mm,
initial contact. If you
mm,
didn't have nothing, and then you pull us over on one of the dimmest lit streets in my whole city, okay? Like it just didn't sit right with me. And then they really didn't simmer down until I told them I work right here. You know what I'm saying? And then when I pointed behind me, I didn't point directly behind me at the building. I pointed at the camera. You know what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden they want to let us go and all this, and then they told us, well, there's been break-ins in this neighborhood, so we were just. I said, well, do we fit this description of these people who are breaking in? You know, and they couldn't answer that and everything like that. So I asked my boss because my boss he lives literally 2 minutes from there. Okay, and he said I ain't heard nothing about no break-ins. You know what I'm saying? So I know what it was. I know what it was. You know. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that police have authority to stop you on the street for no reason. They
They
can't.
don't, but they can do what, but they do whatever they want. I mean, I've
It
seen
says you
it.
can. They have the authority to stop you, but they can't frisk you or search you.
Right, right.
Right. For no reason.
But policemen can approach you and talk to anybody they want to talk to on the street.
But you also have to remember that you do have the right to remain silent.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
but
saying? But that's what they get
as
upset about.
brown
If you say
people,
that,
right, right. As brown people, you better say something.
right.
That's
Mm.
shameful.
That was
You know,
mm,
yep.
I mean, legally by law, they can't ask you for ID unless they actually suspect. Because I just saw a video. He was a Marine, and he was
I
of
know this one.
was driving his car, and the police pulled him over and held him there and racially profiled him. And this guy was like a Marine. He did like 4 tours in Iraq. I mean, this is a man that you need to leave alone, because you wouldn't have the freedom you have if it wasn't for that man and his sacrifices in the military. So he said to them, he said, do you have a reasonable reason? Well, the person was driving, a dark sedan like you. But this man's friends, they were parked, same kind of car. Both of them were white, and they were, they were going to pull in and then go to a shooting thing, a contest or whatever. So they were all going to meet at this one place. So he pulls in, and these cops roll up behind them, and they're threatening him. Oh, well, we're going to drag you out of the car. And he's like, you don't have a right to do that. And then he asked them for their badge number and their first and last name, and the cops refused him anything. And so he just recorded thing, and he told them, I'm a vet. I served in the Marine Corps, and you're pulling me over some BS when you don't even have a right to pull me over. And the only reason you pulled me over was because I was black. And the suspects that you're looking for, there was one black man and one white man, but you pulled me over because I'm black. But there was no white man in the car. You decided to roll up on me and do this by racially profiling me. And then they didn't even
Happens
fall.
every day. Happens
Mhm.
every day.
It's insanity.
And most white people don't want to even
Right.
touch that. They don't
Right.
want to believe it. They think, oh, we must have been doing something wrong. But that's
I-
bull.
My kids are, yeah.
Mm.
In the neighborhood of the broad debt the cat. You know what I'm
You
saying?
know, but one thing I want to point out, and in our society, it's not just, and I know this is like, it happens to a lot of black people, but also if you're poor, you are more likely to get picked on. And yeah, so it's not just color, but also social economic status.
Well, there
You
was,
know,
and this happened a lot.
Because
Oh boy.
because
Loaded conversation.
yeah, and one thing, I want to say, I've had a situation before, which was on a positive side, where I was driving this car that had an issue.
I'm at real talk. That's why I'm like,
And as I was driving, the car just stopped. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I'm like, dang, I'm going to have to walk about 2 miles to get home to get my car going. So as I'm like locking my, trying to figure out, okay, how do I get my car pulled over? This policeman pulls up and he pushes my car uphill. And so I can pull off the main drive. And then um he
We're not saying that all policemen are bad.
yeah,
No, no,
That's
no.
a
You do have some genuinely
misconception.
good ones.
but
Right.
he did help. And the thing is, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
up a hill. And then it was a stick shift, so once we got off the hill, he pushed the car again, and I was able to start the car. Yep. Yeah. So,
Uh,
Okay, you met one of the good ones. You
yeah,
met
yeah.
one of the good ones. Let's
most definitely
move
one of
on.
the good ones.
Well, there,
Society,
I
we need to
Me
we need to
personally, all the stuff I've
find.
been through, I feel like they would have told mine.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And then
there's
I.
there's a cop, there's a police officer, and he grew up in a neighborhood where a majority of the people were of color. And he goes in and he takes care of the people in the community that he grew up in. He plays basketball with the kids. He takes care of the old folks. Yeah, he actually
Yeah.
his Facebook page is out. It's so funny because the name is Oh No, It's the Popos. It's so funny. Yeah, yeah,
hmm
yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
That's the same thing that they did on teachers. They made them live in the neighborhood that they were teaching, what school they were in. I don't know
hmm
that that's always fair. You know what I mean? If they're
Yeah.
coming in and they want to help low income or those that are struggling and they're good teachers, but they don't want to live up in the crime area if it's a crime area. They want to live somewhere else. I don't see that making them be
Yeah.
there. You know what I mean?
It also for teachers, it could be they can't even afford to live in the area. Because I
Yeah,
knew
but
that
who
was my issue. I had
who
a
wants to
45
live in
minute
the midst?
commute.
Who wants to live in the midst of crime?
Wow.
If you're in Chicago, wherever, it's high crime area. You're a teacher. You're a good teacher. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you're a bad teacher, but do you want to live up in a crime area? No, you want to move out to an outer skirts.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
penalize
Well,
people?
Our city has its fair share of crime, especially on Rainier, and you know about Rainier. But our police force is actually it actually has to do with our city. We have separate things
Oh,
and
pardon me.
courts and all of that, and so a lot of the police, they live in our city. They don't live out in other areas. Some of them may, but a lot of the police officers and judges and all of that for our city, they all live in our city. Um, and they know, the people in the neighborhood, and they watched my kids grow up, and we've always had, positive interactions with them. However, what happened to my son was in Seattle and was done by Seattle police. And it was funny because my son worked at GameWorks at the time, and there was the head, like I think he was a sergeant, and he absolutely adored my son, and he would come into where my son worked, and my son would, like, make him, special lunch or whatever. And when that happened, this sergeant said, I need you to file, a complaint against these officers, because it doesn't matter what I do, I'm not able to keep them from doing this, and I can't punish them because they are right on the line. And so he wanted my son to file, a complaint against them. My son really, he was worried about doing that, because he worked in downtown Seattle, and he had to go to and from our city, even though our city is like, border Seattle, and we're only 10 minutes away.
Period. Period.
Yeah.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You
well,
know,
they say it
one
takes a
thing,
village.
one
They say it
thing,
takes a village.
wow.
It does.
Okay, one thing I was reading someone saying get out of the hood. And something that always bothered me. I don't know if any who remembers Good Times. You might not be old enough to remember that. And that used to bother me. Every season they were like, "Are we going to get out of this hood this year?" And they never did. But they never did anything to really improve their situation either.
Mm.
And I think that's one thing that we
Mm.
need to do
That is
is
a very good
invest
observation.
in our community.
Man.
Yeah, they moved out of the hood too. But why don't we invest in the community that we live in? Instead of letting it get worse and worse, we need to invest.
Because the people that live in that community don't have the money to invest in anything. They're barely making it.
We got two hands.
But you can't. But you can't. But you can't. But you can't say
You,
that.
you can't say that.
No, I don't want to talk about it no more.
Yeah. Mhm.
I'm done.
Mm.
Mhm. Mhm.
Who has the money to change? The black people don't have the money. What are we saying? The black
Yeah.
people,
Well, yeah,
they're
but
low income.
my thing is just because you're low income doesn't mean you don't have resources.
You
Now,
have to
I can
have
see,
the
let me finish,
opportunity.
please. Let me
I have a
finish.
comment
Let
on
me,
that.
because I'm always quiet for everybody else, but I keep getting interrupted. But oh well.
So
But
speaking
I
of
can
numbers,
understand if you're outnumbered. But there's also other resources besides money. I remember when my dad and his friends, they didn't have a lot of money, but they helped each other. Okay, we going to work on your house this weekend, Mr. So and so's house the next weekend. And, and also, like Mon Diego says, it's about what you prioritize, basically, is what he's saying. So, it's sometimes we got to pause and think, yeah, we're in a bad situation, but how do we make it better? That's all I'm saying. But sometimes I know you can't. Okay, I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, so there was I don't know how familiar you guys are with Nipsey Hussle, but he went back into his community and he bought a couple of strip malls, and he gave back to his community, and he put the money that he made back into his community. He had a program for people who didn't have the right kind of clothes to go to job interviews. So he would let people come in his store and get what they needed. When people came out of prison, he helped them integrate themselves back into society and gave them a foot up so that they didn't repeat patterns and end up back in jail. It depends on the person. I mean, Nipsey Hussle, he's from Inglewood. My grandma used to live there. I know how that neighborhood is. Yeah, he did. He became famous rapping, but he took that money that he made and put it back into his community. It didn't matter how much money he had. He put it in his community because he wanted to uplift his community.
Another thing that has to be realized is that it's not always taught.
Right.
Go to college,
mm,
do this,
mm,
do that. The steps to change that situation because it's not known. So therefore, You can't change something that you have no means.
No knowledge of.
Yeah, yeah.
Working
So
at all.
it's easy for a white person to say, "Oh, it depends on the person." Oh, they could have did this and they could have did that because you were taught it in your home. It is not always taught in Black homes or even emphasized that education is the key or any of that. I learned about stocks on my own because I was curious, but that's not something that's actually taught in the home. You get what I'm saying? It's not always taught.
And
But
back in
they
the
don't. But
day,
they don't even have basic skills like they had. Like when I was growing up, they had shop class. They had home economics. They taught you
right?
how to balance a checkbook, how to cook, change a tire. But they don't do that now, and they don't do that now because they don't want people like they push college and stuff. But what about the people who don't do well in college? They need to go to trade school. We don't even promote trade school. We
All
promote
the
people
trades
having
have
a
moved
job
across the
and
country. A lot of
yeah.
the country. Oh my God.
Yeah. But I think that we should, I think that we should have community gardens. I think where you live, there should be a garden where people go in. We should, teach people how to take care of the land and how to grow their own food because that is what, and y'all gonna think I'm crazy. But there is going to be a time where money is not going to matter anymore, and you're going to have to live off the land, and you're going to have some kind of commodity where you can do a barter system. And our financial system right now, if you look at it, it's falling apart, and the rich are getting richer, and the poor are getting poorer, and there's no and then when and then like I was dealing, I'm looking for a teeny home. And so I have some things that make it difficult for that. One of them being my income. So I had posted anonymously on a teeny home group, and this woman, okay, this woman, sorry, she assumed because I'm on SSI, disability and stuff. She assumed that I spend my money irresponsibly. She assumed that I blow my money on BS. When you get $914 and $700 takes up your rent, I'm sorry. And then she's like, well, you could save. I make under 10 grand a year. You know how long it would take me to save? Like, come on, let's be realistic.
Right.
And she's blaming poor people and this whole attitude of somebody who lives behind, below the poverty line. And then you got people who think like that, who blame poor people for the situation when they have absolutely no realistic idea of what it is like to live on disability and have to fight, where a system wants to keep you down and you can't do anything to bring yourself back up out of it. Now, I have a job and I work. I do have a job and I work.
But yet, the lips will be formed to say what Black people need to do to educate themselves.
Right. Pull
Right.
yourself up by your bootstraps.
Yeah, but yet you're saying no one knows what it takes. But Black people should have pulled themselves up.
But this is the
400 years of oppression. Okay, pull yourself up. When you were never given the opportunity. So then they do affirmative action. They do affirmative action, and now they want to do away with that. That was the only thing that gave us a playing field. Right. Why? Too many brown people. Too many brown people.
well,
That's
I'm
what
sorry.
white people. Can't even click on the board. That's what white people.
Sweet
like.
been awfully quiet. You can't click on the board. I don't know. The board's not
Oh, I
working.
can talk now. I done raised my hand up in the audience like 5 times. Nobody said anything.
Nobody's looking at the audience.
What you mean? I'm holding my hand up. Somebody can't. Anyway, I ain't going through all that.
It's sweet juice time.
My hand was up.
I ain't going through all that.
It's sweet juice time.
What you do? What you,
I was the local.
oh.
Right.
Well, I
She's
was paying
still.
attention. Nobody said it. No, no,
I
I'm
was
not.
clicking on it, but I couldn't see it, so I
No,
was
I
waiting.
was clicking on it too.
No,
I
it's not.
did.
But that's
I
okay.
did.
Everybody has been respectful. But
Go,
everybody's
go,
been
go, go,
respectful.
go. Look in the chat. I put in the
Yeah.
chat.
Okay,
But
I'll let you
everybody,
know because I saw it. I'll let you know when someone raises their hand.
but
All right.
everybody's
Mm.
been respectful. That's one thing for sure. Everybody's been respectful.
Well, how do you
That's
raise
what
your
I'm saying.
hand? I'm not getting it.
I just, I
Uh,
just, I
yes, he
just said
was.
that.
Y'all just wasn't reading the chat. I was. I saw everything that he put in there. Y'all kept yapping and yapping. I couldn't get an inch word in. If it wasn't Canela, it was Malcolm. If it wasn't Malcolm, I don't know the other lady name. Oh, y'all don't want me to interrupt. Y'all didn't want me to interrupt. No, I ain't gonna interrupt. I said forget it. Y'all go ahead on. My time passed by. I'm gonna sit here and look.
No, you can have
'Cause
my time, sweet juicy.
it ain't no time.
I
I don't
got
know
time.
what do you.
How did I get blamed? I didn't talk that much.
She didn't talk
Shoot.
but about 3 minutes. That's all she talked.
What? Oh, okay. Well, today I don't have any trivia.
That's not. Don't
Mm,
be done.
mm.
No, she just.
Ain't nobody
We're
yell
doing.
at you. Ain't nobody yell at you.
We're doing great.
Not
Mm.
here. Not here. I got
Shh.
something to say. Why don't you let me say it, please?
She's just doing
I'm not
all
gonna
good.
fight any you
She
about
doesn't
any.
sound like she's fighting. She just went AFK for a minute.
Yeah, I had to relog anyway because I
I
couldn't.
saw it. I saw
Uh,
that.
Who is that
So,
man speaking? He sounds like Bootsy Collins.
oh, you didn't see me
well,
relog back in?
Bootsy, all the way from Cincinnati.
Okay, all right.
She don't
Okay,
see no
well,
so. Hey, sweet juicy,
I
go
heard,
ahead.
I heard, I heard, I
Tisa,
heard.
then pass the mic to you. Say something, Tisa. Talk to us,
I'm
baby.
still wondering how you put your hand up.
Who
Baby,
me?
don't
No,
worry about it.
anyone. You're saying
Everybody's been
everyone's saying,
Oh,
respecting
"Ma
everybody.
Diego, shush." How do you
hush.
put
Yeah.
your
Shush.
hand up in the room if
You
you want to speak?
shush.
No,
Because the
I
boy.
said,
Oh my
it,
God.
hold on,
Hello.
Never mind. Never
hold on.
mind.
I
Sweet
tell you,
juicy.
I put. Hold on,
Yeah,
hold on.
I'm good. I'm good.
She asked me a
Sweet
question.
juicy. You
She
got the mic,
asked me a
sweet juicy.
question. She asked me a question. And I'm going. I just put in the chat.
Hello.
Hold my hand up. Hold my hand up.
Um,
That's all. I said.
hi. My
Oh,
name is Tracy Ties.
fool. Uh-oh, Tracy. Okay. I
I'm
tried.
right here, but
I just muted that motherfucker because he doesn't even have
Hey,
his hat on.
hey, hey, no.
You know what? Don't speak up. Don't speak ill about people that are disabled. That is really fucked up.
How would I known he was disabled?
You can tell by the way he
Didn't you just hear him?
How would I have known?
Did
It
you
don't
just hear
matter.
his
We're be
voice?
respectful on the show. Anybody who's speaking,
Okay,
just
hey,
be
sweet
respectful.
juicy.
That's all.
don't attack disabled
Calm
people.
down. I'm talking to sweet juicy. It's all
Don't
right.
do it.
Calm down.
what I come back to?
My God.
I'm with you, man. Welcome back to the farm. Sweet
Thank you, thank
Juicy.
you.
We were with Sweet Juicy. What was up, baby girl? No,
No.
no, I'm just saying.
Ooh, are we having a
Okay.
lover's spat?
Okay, today I just was gonna touch down about the heat wave. I call it tropical heat wave. So I was just and I'm not done with it. I just did like a little sighting of who was where people have, died over heat related and how many people it's affecting and what they're saying about just in general. It's nothing critical or anything. 2017, between 13,000 and 20,000 adults died, but they was due to heart failure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the last couple of months, there has been like 14 children have died in hot cars.
Mm.
Why
That's
are
because
people
the people left them in the car. The
understand that?
kids
But
didn't stay in the car themselves. Somebody left them in the car.
I understand that. But why are they still leaving their kids in the car? If you,
I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't know.
not you, I understand it. If you going to the store, quite naturally, I would leave my kids at home knowing it's gonna be hot.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing
I
it's gonna
wish I
be
would have
hot.
left my son in the car. I love him, but sometimes you wish you would have left your car in the sun, left your son, my son, in the
And
car. But I love
and
my son, and he's not in the car. But sometimes that nigga, like, yo, I'm gonna leave you in the car. It's hot.
People are in a hurry to do too much, I think, you know.
Hmm.
yeah,
People are
Well,
too
that's
distracted with their phones and
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh,
we
Mm-hmm.
let
live
me
in a,
just run in here and do blah blah blah, and they're not thinking. And
but that's the world we live in.
I
and
know
that
it is.
Yeah.
and that
That's
Mm-hmm.
the
brings it
world
to
we
a
live in.
thousand, kids who have died that way during the
Hey,
past
have
few
y'all heard
decades.
of this new movie that came out? The
And
Sound,
people get
whatever that.
dehydrated
I'm gonna
really
go to
fast.
this new
We're
movie
talking
that
about
just came
people
out.
dying in the heat wave, and you're changing the subject on the host.
No, I'm just saying that we talked about kids dying and it's the kids and stuff, and I just said there's this new movie I just found
That's
out,
trafficking. Are you talking about the trafficking movie?
and I'm gonna go.
Freedom,
I'm gonna
Sound of
go.
Freedom.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that.
All
I
right.
didn't. My family was like, go check that out, dude.
I
I
saw it
said,
yesterday.
what did you think?
It's a real story. It's a real life story.
Yeah, I'm
I
like,
thought they
this
did
is
a
good.
decent job. I thought they did a decent
Okay,
job of covering
I
it. It
just
wasn't to the point that, some of I've seen other trafficking, real life trafficking things, and it's just something you can't even imagine
no,
of what happens to children when pedophiles get a hold of them. You know what I
but it
mean? So
just go
they
back
did
to
Oh
that
what,
wow.
tastefully.
but
They
it
did it
what goes
tastefully.
But it just goes back to what Sweet Juicy was on about kids and cars dying and kids getting
Oh, that's a
trafficked.
whole nother
It's
thing. We're
it
talking
just
about
sounds like
people.
an attack on children. What
It
she's
is an
saying
attack
is a
on
whole
children.
no. I
Hmm.
get it. What she's saying is a whole another thing.
But that's
But she's
parents that are
dealing with.
being negligent. We're talking about people who are grabbing your kids off the
I
street.
get it, but it's what I'm
And
saying.
in other
It
countries, they're snatching
seems,
them out of the parents' hands. Like they're
yeah.
walking with them and they have a car or a motorcycle and they're coming by and snatching those kids in Nicaragua and Colombia and all these
And
places.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
It's
and
a
America.
multi-million dollar business. And America is the biggest, what do you call it?
No, I'm
Um,
just saying that
Contributor. Biggest
yeah,
contributor.
yeah.
I'm actually thinking about joining
There are
that group if
kids,
I can
there are
work out
kids that,
some.
there are kids that
Thinking
are
about
missing
joining
from,
it.
I'm talking,
I
okay,
know I'm going
I
to
would like to talk now.
financially
There are,
support it. From what I've been reading and hearing, oh, the kids get
Heat
killed and his.
exhausting.
Oh, my bad. There's nothing to. There's nothing to support the kids who are dying in heat waves. Parents need to get their kids out of the car. That's
Yep.
Period.
they just need to take the, when they get out the car, take your damn kids out the car. I can't financially support that because that's
And
just
your
some
animals,
parents.
both.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Monday ago.
Hmm.
Let me tell you something.
Tell me
What
something,
I wa-
sweet.
what I was reading up here, that's not exactly what all I was going to say. But you came and changed the subject, which I think is
Hmm.
rude. But I'm gonna
Yeah,
let
Oh,
you
that go
did.
because I just shut up. I just shut up because I don't want my temper to boil right
but
now.
it does come back to the
I
subject.
don't
Michaela has
I
raised her
don't
hand.
care. I don't care. Let me finish my subject, please. Let me finish my subject. And I'm not trying to be
I'm sorry,
bitch
Juice.
about it or
I'm.
anything. I was doing something on Heatway. I understand these children or whatever. I don't have none of my own, but I do listen to the news and I understand what you're saying. But I'm talking about the heat, how it is affecting children, older people.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I
I
All of
agree.
them.
apologize, Juice.
I
I do.
agree.
You
I
know,
I
agree.
do.
It's a fact.
Hmm.
I totally agree with you.
I
That's all.
don't have but 10 minutes now because you done took 10 minutes of that.
Right.
I
Michaela
did.
has
Yeah.
raised her hand.
But I'm not gonna lie, another that would be a good topic for another day, though.
Malcolm,
Most definitely would be a good topic for
Michaela,
another
Hmm.
day.
um,
No,
Yeah.
it is
Mal-
a good topic.
Malca, I'm
Yeah,
sorry if I
that's actually
mispronounced
yeah.
your.
I'm sorry.
Malca.
It's pronounced Malka.
just say what you're gonna
I
say,
raised my
Malcolm.
hand.
Just say what you're gonna say so I
Okay,
can
was
finish.
Mr. Rude interrupting me?
Finish. Hey,
So
you gonna be
Okay.
the
rude for
heat
2 minutes. Just say what you gotta say, please.
here in Washington, the heat has been so bad, we've been breaking records. It's insane. I don't do well in the heat either because my body doesn't cool down like it should. So I have to do things in order to have my body temperature, get to the point where I'm comfortable. I can understand why people are dying from the heat. It's horrible. I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So now they saying there there are like hundreds of heat related deaths in New York each summer, which black people dies twice as fast as white people.
Hmm. Hypertension, high blood pressure.
Mhm. Now they saying that the average temperature that becomes new normal, black and Latinos and American Indians and Alaska Native communities will suffer disproportionate. I can't say appropriately, and it's gonna be
Disproportionately.
proportionately.
Disproportionately.
Okay,
Hmm.
proportionately. I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting
No.
me. This is a
Disproportion. Hmm.
historical trend that will be amplified by climate change.
Mm.
Okay, who can name me some of the hottest cities that is the hottest cities now? Right
Texas
now.
isn't Texas, so that's a state, but I
It
know
doesn't matter.
Texas is
Las
Trust me. I'm
Vegas.
Texas
sorry.
is really dealing
I'm
with it.
sorry. I'm sorry. You right.
Yeah.
Texas state, but what other it's a cities in the U.S.
Oh
Las
wow.
Vegas.
Las
Hmm.
Vegas one.
Phoenix.
Phoenix is
Yes,
one.
Phoenix. Hmm.
Anybody know the number one hottest place?
Nope.
Oh.
New
Mm-mm.
York.
No, that's
Atlanta,
one.
Atlanta,
No, come on, y'all.
Atlanta. What? I'm
California.
guessing. I'm a northerner. I live
Oh,
up north.
Oh,
that's
the
shut up. Don't say nothing,
Alabama.
teaser. Don't say nothing. It was an old western movie named after it.
It's Phoenix, isn't it?
Ponderosa.
Tucson, Arizona.
I'm gonna give you another
Tucson.
clue. It's in California.
I said that because I'm from California.
Well,
No,
what
What,
did you
San
say? What
Francisco?
was the city?
it's a
it,
What are you talking about, San Francisco?
It would
no. It
probably
ain't
be
San
like
no,
Francisco.
San
I didn't
Bernardino
say
or
that.
Riverside or one of the outer cities that we consider the outer rings of
Hmm.
hell in California. So
no.
like
It's a valley.
Barstow,
We
It's a
got more
valley.
San
homeless. We got more
Bernardino,
homeless people.
It's a valley.
Oh,
I'll tell y'all.
Silicon Valley.
No,
San
Silicon
no.
Valley.
Fernando Valley.
Hmm.
Tombstone. Tombstone.
No,
It's
no.
called
Close
Death
to it.
Valley.
Close to it.
It's
That's
called
right.
Death Valley.
Death
Where?
Valley.
Got Death
Death
Valley.
Valley.
All right.
It
Yeah, well,
registered to be. Yeah, that's
they
the
don't
number.
even get water there, do they? They don't get rain there, do they?
We get
Hmm.
the same thing you get,
No,
but we don't
in
get as
Death
much.
Valley.
From
You
what
know,
I was reading, they have like some Indians living there. Not many.
We don't care
Natives,
about the
Native
Indians.
Americans,
The Indians need
Mhm.
to get the hell out of there.
indigenous
That's
people.
their fault.
wow.
They
Okay,
want to.
well, to sum it up, I'm gonna name a few. Y'all
Okay.
did name Phoenix, Tucson, Las Vegas, Del Rio, Texas, Brownsville, Texas, San Antonio, Texas, Austin, Texas.
Wow.
Yeah.
You
Those.
damn right. The
I'm
whole
just
damn
saying.
state is
Right.
burned.
Right.
The whole
Boy,
damn
they go
state
Well,
from
well, wait a minute.
sub-zero to over 100. Texas
I
now.
got, I got. Wait a minute.
Oh
I got San Antonio. I got Austin.
shit.
I got
Yeah.
Miami. I got Tampa, Florida. I got Orlando, Florida. So we not the
Yeah.
only.
You know,
Jacksonville,
it's
Florida,
like this whole damn
Houston,
country burning
Texas.
up.
Well,
Except
basically
for
it
Michigan.
is.
Yeah, that's
Basically
crazy.
it is.
Like here in Michigan, in Indiana, and Ohio, we are having a very mild summer. Like the
Very
temperatures are
mild.
around 80.
Yes. And I love it.
Mm-mm.
Well, I know
Well,
Tampa's
I can
stop
hot.
do
moving
this.
there because next year it's gonna be burning up there.
I hope
Right,
not.
I wish
that
it
part.
would. I wish it would burn up here in Michigan. I can't tell you how
Oh,
long it's been since we've
But see,
seen
I'm
hot
gonna
weather
be
like
up
that.
there. I'm gonna be up there when Ice Cube has a big three. I'm taking my little son and we going up to Big Three in Detroit. Y'all have a Detroit Big Three up in here with Ice Cube. I'm gonna be up there. I'll find out.
but,
Um,
but see,
mm,
I look at
Well,
Mm.
mm.
I hope they drink a
okay,
lot of water.
but let me tell y'all something.
Right, right.
Look,
let sweet juice talk. Go ahead.
I I watch the news, and
Hmm.
right from Mexico going up, wasn't nothing but red all over that area. Red. I mean,
Hmm.
know how that heat wave is coming up and
Hmm.
everything, and it's like, oh my God, this it's been. I live in an area where it stay constantly hot almost all year round, but this
Mm.
heat here,
It's
mm-mm.
happening in Greece. Did y'all
It
hear
don't
about
get
what's
that
going
hot
on
up
in
It,
where I am.
Greece and Europe? It's
yeah,
burning the hell up in Europe too. Greece is
Yeah,
and they're not
burning
everywhere,
used
up.
to that at
everywhere.
all.
They're not used to that. They're not used to that. But that's
These
just
it's these Republicans like we don't have no such thing as heat and shit. What the fuck
No
Global
planet are
global
warming.
you living?
global warming.
yeah,
There's
Global warming.
global
global
warming. I'm
all
like,
over the place.
niggas are where you niggas live. It's all over the place, niggas. Where
But
you?
but if I'm not mistaken, this has been predicted like long time ago.
Oh
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's been coming on.
yeah. They
For
said that
years.
Well, what we gonna do?
you can't do nothing but keep your butt inside, stay cool, eat a lot of fruit,
Hmm.
drink Gatorade. But if you want to go out there, you can just be precaution about where you go and how far you going and how hot the heat is.
Stay
Yep.
in air conditioner.
Uh,
Stay hydrated.
Fatigue, heat stroke.
Mm.
Hmm.
well,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
you like? Are you talking like Keith Sweat said? I'm gonna make you sweat.
I see people out here running
See,
and
Is that kind
in
of
the
sweat?
middle of the afternoon and it's
Thank you.
89 degrees and they're jogging, and
I
that's
don't
just
have any problem
stupidity to
sweating.
me.
I
Yeah,
like
that's
sweating.
It's
crazy.
not
That's
hot.
crazy. That's suicidal.
Right,
89
yeah,
degrees? That's
I
not
like.
hot.
right.
Mhm.
Well, the thing
I'm gonna
is,
tell you what I like.
people make the mistake of like taking like a cold shower, thinking that it's going to cool their body down, but
Right.
actually taking a cold shower brings your body up. So when you want to cool down, you need to take like a
A
lukewarm
hot,
shower.
a hot shower. Hot shower. Hmm.
It'll put you
So
in
a
shock.
lukewarm
I know
shower,
that.
No, I
and
don't
you'll
take a
trigger
hot
your
shower. I
body.
take a cold
Well,
shower.
that goes back to where everybody said when you drink a lot of cold stuff, that's not working because they say the more you want cold, the more you want it. That is not cooling down your body.
The more
You have
it's
to.
cold, I want hot. I
I'm
like hot.
look it up, look it up, look it up. If you drink room temperature,
I like
Yuck.
it cools your
exercising,
body
so I
off.
like
I
hot.
Yeah,
know
they
most
say
of
drink
y'all don't
room
like.
temperature.
I was just about to say that your body takes that in much faster than cold water.
I like
That's right.
sweating.
Thank you.
I
Thank
like sweating. I don't need no hot coffee. I
Exactly.
like exercising and I
no.
like sweating. I like exercising.
I look. I know because I was working
Hmm.
one day and I got dizzy and I was just like sweating. My whole shirt was wet. They pulled me into an air condition. They set me down there. They called my boss. They told my boss, and they gave me water. They didn't give me no cold water. They gave me water until my body cooled down because it was definitely hot
They should
that
have
day.
played you some Keith Sweat song.
Oh my
That's
day.
what they should have done.
Oh,
Oh,
dead.
that's what they should have done. They should have played some Sweat.
You thinking about something else, and we talking about something that's with your health.
Always, always.
It's healthy.
No, yeah, Montiego.
What are you talking about? I'm not healthy. It ain't. It ain't. What you? It ain't.
Never
Not
mind, never
healthy.
mind, never mind.
Oh, I have a subject, but I don't want to change subjects rudely.
I'm done, sweetie.
But it's
Go ahead.
For
exciting.
the next session.
Yeah, maybe we could talk about it. April 8th, real quick, April 8th, 2024, there will be a full solar eclipse going over the United States, and the two best places to see it is Texas and Indiana.
Did you say April? Did you say April?
April 8th.
Oh, 2024.
Yes, ma'am.
What
Yeah.
happened?
You know what? You know what we get. You know what we get during
Total
eclipse?
eclipse.
Gray,
I
cloudy
mean, but what
skies.
happens? I don't know. I'm just asking.
The sun gets blocked out by the moon.
It'll be
You
Oh
know
my
what?
god.
You're banned just for even breathing. Banned. you, you banned.
If you
your
bought it
friends
for
should break
them,
you
I
off.
won't have
no, no,
I mean,
I
you
don't
don't
think
have
you
to
should.
be half,
I
but
don't.
No,
I would
because
share with
if
my
you
friend if
bought
he's my
something
friend.
for someone,
Yeah,
you
if he's my
bought it
friend.
for them.
Yeah, I would too. If it
I
was
would
my friend, I'm
share.
definitely gonna share.
If it's my friend, I'm gonna
Right.
share. I'm
Um,
not. I'm
I
not
I
gonna
would
be
wouldn't. I
tight.
wouldn't
decide.
do that.
I
I'm not
would
Well,
the
you
type
know,
to do that.
decide and
if
look
they
at the
want to
last
do
time
that,
he
then that's
shared a
on them
blunt
to
with
do
me.
that. But you shouldn't expect it. That's
yeah.
I
my
can
Right.
go
point,
back.
That's
I
true.
guess.
But a
That's
real
true
Oh,
because
friend,
it
don't
was.
expect it. You're giving
a real
something
friend.
away. Whoa.
If
I
I
would.
go
Miss
back and
Oh,
Miss
I
would
would
share.
share it. I would share it most
I
definitely.
yeah, I
would
would.
share it.
it
I
I would.
depends
would.
on when the last time he smoked a blunt with me. It's just like, hey, bro, when's the last time we've been cold? If we were smoking a blunt last week or 2 months ago,
Thank you, Dr. Sinful.
that's
Simply
that's
speaking,
how I
as far as with the
right.
water,
that's
What's
mine's
how I
going
cold as
on
hell.
determine
about
my
water
friend.
temperatures and
But I,
dehydration?
that's how I determine my friend.
Can I say something?
How do you determine your friend?
And I don't mean Tisa say watch what's in local. Well, it's only one person speaking in local, and that's it back there, Montiego. Cause
No, this
nobody else
Coast.
can.
Coast is speaking.
Cause well, yeah, but he
Justice is
wasn't
Hello.
speaking.
that.
Hello.
That there, he's speaking. He
Yeah.
don't give nobody else a chance to finish or whatever. Yeah, but at the time y'all was speaking, but at the time y'all was speaking about that.
Mm.
Wasn't nothing being typed. It was nobody typing at time. I was raising my hand up. Malcolm was talking to him.
Sorry,
They was
sorry.
all talking.
Okay, let's not
But
go
it's
backwards.
okay. But no, that's what I'm saying. So when y'all was talking, no coast to coast. You're cool. You cool. Cause I didn't see nothing that when that was talked. I just want to mention that because maybe somebody might take a heed to how
Well,
to
that's
pipe down.
probably because the
Yeah.
board not
I
working.
apologize for
Uh,
my dog.
You're fine.
Dang it.
I
Right.
was like, what time?
See,
I didn't. I didn't say nothing cursing. I didn't say nigga.
I
No,
did
I
curse, and
didn't
I'm
say it.
very sorry.
Yes, you did. And if I can't cuss, you can't cuss
She blamed
either.
it on me.
Okay? If
Well,
I
son
can't
of
Hold
a
on, hold on, hold
biscuit.
on.
you,
Hold on,
and if
I
I
want to
can
add
control my
my
mouth,
dad.
so can you.
Why you always using nigga and all of that? That's so derogatory, and to me,
But
it's
I
just
like those.
down.
But I like those
Don't
words.
say that. Don't say that. We trying to get away from it, and you keep bringing it back. I
All
don't
right,
even
I
like
gotta go,
that
y'all.
word. I just hate that word. You call it niggas, niggas, niggas. I don't like that word. Oh, everybody got a name. Everybody has a name. Use it.
I
You
do.
niggas, you colored folks, you this.
I like
I,
colored people.
I don't like the word colored people.
No, I'm colored.
Why can't you
I'm
just say
colored.
why can't
I'm
you say black
colored.
American
I'm colored.
and y'all?
I'm colored.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mon Diego broke it.
I didn't break nothing. I didn't
Okay,
even
so
say nothing about the board.
I got a quick thing just to ask real quick to Sweet Juice and
Yes.
how do you say that? Tisa? Tisa.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you know how like we be on certain topics and then people bring up other topics that would be good topics, but however we're on another topic, so it's kind of like
Right.
rude to interrupt that topic for another topic. Is
Right.
there any way like you could put like a suggestion box out maybe, and people could like drop those
Yeah,
things in there?
yeah, we can.
Hold on.
I'm
Please,
gonna have
sorry.
to
Like to
walk
see
that
where
way.
that is
Oh,
too.
my bad, my bad,
Is
my
Thank
bad,
just
my
a
bad,
mailbox?
thank you ladies.
my bad,
Thank
my
you
bad, big
Bobby
bro.
and
This
Miss
is the
And,
first
and
time I've seen
thank
this
you
why do
all.
we
box.
put something in
I've
there?
been knowing her a long time. How you
Oh,
gonna put?
Ah,
Sweet, I'm so sorry for snapping off.
Oh no,
if you
no, no,
click it,
no.
I'm
I
not
just
getting anything when I click it.
no, it's okay, it's okay. I just waited
I
till
was
y'all finished.
very offended
Why
when he
don't you
said
put it
that about
somewhere where
race.
we know that? Why don't you say that where we
Yeah,
know
I
it?
Well,
know.
now we all know it.
Yeah, we already know about Christmas.
Okay.
That's why
Yeah.
we don't say much or nothing, because we already know about
And I
Christmas.
I
know,
gotta.
Yeah.
but I mean, I was offended when he said that.
mm-hmm.
Well,
You know Montego ain't got no sense.
you know what? I like you too, sweet Juicy. I appreciate you too, Juicy.
I know.
Okay.
I'm right
Great.
beside
It
Thank
you.
says
you.
no car, so
I should. I know how
I'm
to.
right. I'm right
Okay,
okay.
that's
All right.
good.
Well, we
Yeah.
gotta put a no box. We gotta put no car in it.
Yeah, I know. I'm not. I'm cool. We all
I
right.
just want to make sure because I got some things I need to get off my.
Yeah,
Let me
Wait,
nothing
see.
let me click
happens.
Oh,
it.
I tried clicking it and I didn't get anything.
Oh,
And
let's
I'm.
go.
Yeah.
Hi, false.
No, not in
Right.
edit. In edit mode, you're saying? Yep. Go to
Oh,
content.
excuse me, Miss
Oh,
Sinful.
okay.
You're okay. Hi.
How you doing, Ma?
I'm okay. How are you today?